Hello, everyone. Welcome you to the Academy Graduation Day. And for starting, we have Angel to welcome all of us to this event. So please, Angel, all yours.
Thank you. Well, I'm going to be very brief. I just want to say thank you. I'm so grateful that you guys have invested this time with empathy. I was so excited from day one. I was so inspired by how you took on presenting yourselves confidently, owning the message collaboratively. It was very inspiring indeed, and to the point that I wanted to be part of your journey, and you giving me the opportunity to follow with you every week as we went along on this process. I am very hopeful that you guys are going to have great contributions to do in empathy or elsewhere, wherever the future may take us all. And I'm so excited that we are able to do this, Marina. I'm so grateful for the great job you've done for this initiative. Uh, so that's really all I wanted to say. You all know about empathy, so I'm not going to talk about empathy. We all feel in perfect alignment with that. So thank you, and thank you so very much indeed. Thank you.
Thank you, Angel. Also, thank you for helping all the students during the whole process. And yeah, so for continue, we have today here also Germán, who will talk a little bit about the collaboration with university.
I'm gonna be brief also. It's just gonna take a few minutes, but I'd like to start by saying that it's a pleasure to be here. Actually, it's a pleasure to have a lot of people today. But I'd like also to mention that it's a pleasure to be surrounded by such a talented people. So thank you for, as Angel has mentioned before, for being part of the journey. And I'd like to stress three main ideas. Okay, so the first one is the last February at our kickoff, I spoke about this project and I defined it as the fuel for our future, as the fuel for empathy's future, and I still see it that way. Almost, I think it was almost 2-3 years ago, we started working with the University of Oviedo in projects that shared our beliefs, and that push has taken us to shape this internal project, this internal project, which is in continuous evolution and in a continuous improvement. And I'd like to pause there for a second. I'd like to take our time to think about this principle of that I love it, and I know that everyone in empathy also love it, of this belief of keep moving, of keep evolving, of keep improving. And I don't remember when, maybe 4 or 5 months ago, I was reading about these processes, and I found this Japanese word, which is kaizen, with Sita and K, and it speaks about basically, by definition, it means change for the better or continuous improvement. Okay, and it speaks a philosophy of this continuous evolution, how small steps day by day, can have an incremental value of the future, and that's our mindset. That's why we in empathy, we try to bring that into everything that we do, and that's why Academy is not gonna stop. We are gonna to keep improving. And the next step is that we started to have conversations with the university, and we want to open up to new disciplines, okay, which we can collaborate with the university in how can I describe it, in a bi-directional way, because it tends to think that companies only wants, the guys that are in their last year in order to, as I described at the beginning, the fuel for our future. But we would like also to start this journey with the university at the beginning, with every one of you, trying to help you, how the future could look like. Okay, so today all of you are computer engineers, as I am. And well, Angel said that he's not going to reinforce the message of empathy, but I would like to stress again that our success, the success of a digital product, lies in this mix of technology and experiences, as you all know, and in understanding that its nature, has to be, and I love this word, has to be polyformic. Okay, we as an engineers tend to have an homomorphic mindset, and I love this idea to have this polymorphic point of view. That's why we will push, to open many more ways of learning and collaborating with the university in all those disciplines that bring us closer to the people. Okay, and what I mean by that, well, of course, design, we are going to open a new path, but we want to be closer with psychology, with sociology. We want also to open up this idea of journalism to help us in the exercise of a spread, outside our knowledge. So basically, it's all about to have or to look the way that we are going to develop products and features from different lenses in order to complete the picture. Okay, so remember, I'm just going to wrap up 3 main ideas. Academy as empathy is going to be a continuous improvement project. Therefore, our next step is to open to new disciplines, collaborating with the university at all the stages of the student journey. With what purpose? In order to share our vision with this polymorphic mindset. So thank you so much. Thanks for being a part of the journey. And I know that they are not here today, but I'd like also to welcome for the futures to come. Okay, that's it. So all yours, Marina.
Yeah, thank you. So as Germán just said, we have a lot to do in collaboration with university, and this is only the first small step, the Empathy Academy. I'm gonna talk a little bit about what we did in this batch, with the clear objective we have about, in one hand, offer the students at the university a way to be up to date, to start working in a company, but also for our teams, to offer a way to have people on board with not so much friction. So we create these learning paths, specifics for different technologies that we are using. So an academy path is basically a 12 weeks program when we learn the students not only the technical skills that we need to be with us, but also our ways of working and soft skills. And we are going to repeat this program 3 times per year. So there will be a new opportunity to join every February, June, and October. And yeah, with this, the selection process that we already have is about to send the offers to the university. Then we are receiving all the applications from the students, and we run a group interview. In this group interview, we have the opportunity to meet the participants and see them presenting themselves and interacting as a team. And for this part, we strongly value the soft skills for the people who want to join, because we know they have a lot to learn, but we do have a plan for them. So we want to strongly value the soft skills. And after that, we send them a test, and we then select the ones who will be part of Empathy Academy. What happens before, Lucia and Andrea will tell you with some visualization that they have already made. So I will give them the word.
So we are going to share with you a brief introduction about Empathy Academy and our journey through it. So the first part was to prove our skills, both soft and technical skills. And you know, only 13 of us has passed the test and will continue with the academic process. Next, we come to empathy. And as I said before, only 13 of us could continue with the next steps. And the problem here is that we are a lot of people and we didn't know each other, for example. So we have to do something. And we started to make connections between us, as you can see here. And we try to find things that were similar between us, for example, our hobbies or what we do in our free time. And you can see it in a video we have, for example, on LinkedIn that someone may pass in the chat. And Lucia, continue.
The next step was choosing a path, choosing what we wanted to specialize in, which was the hardest part because we all liked every single path and we wanted to learn about everything, which was just impossible. But finally, I'm very glad to say that all of us are very happy with the path that we ended up choosing. These are the ones that we chose. And then came my favorite part, which was taking what you learn from the path owners and start creating little projects, which were really fun to make, and also some bigger ones that we are going to show you today. And finally, what is next for us Academy students? We've come up with some final projects, which we think are very promising ideas, which hopefully in 3 months from now, we will be able to show you something very cool. So look forward to that. And finally, we want to say thanks to every single path owner for teaching us everything that we are going to show you today, and also to Marina for being like our mom at Empathy and taking us under her wing and just being our support system. So thank you very much. And now I will give way to my colleagues so they can show you the amazing stuff they've been working on, which I'm sure you're going to enjoy.
So, good morning. My name is Anna, and this is Loading. Thank you. My name is Anna, and I'm an academy student who focuses in the search path. And today we want to show you the journey that we've been experiencing when we entered Empathy, and also the work that we've been doing during these 3 months. But first of all, let me introduce you to our path owners. Here is Ivan, who is the path owner of the front-end path, and Laura, who is the path owner of the search path. These are the people that guide us and help us to create this project that we will show you. And we are really thankful for being there, for being nice, for helping us that much. And so thank you. Now let me introduce you to the Search Path Academy team. We have Danny, who will talk about a chronological axis with the Search Path experience. Then we have Maria, who will do a little demo of a really interesting part of our project, and Ricardo, who is going to talk about the obstacles of both paths. So if you're interested in joining the future in the front-end path or the search path, you should really listen to Ricardo. And the flowery girl, that's me. I'm going to present you these slides, and also I'm going to close them. And last, we have the Front Path Academy team. We have Danny, who will show you some GIFs with the evolution of the project, and Raul will do a chronological axis with the front-end path experience, and Sonia, who will do the special demo, the project that the front-end path and the search path did together. So Raul, if you want to start, it's all yours.
So hello everyone, and now as my colleague said, I'm going to go deeper into each path, starting by the front one. Our first assignment was to create a web that acted as our personal portfolio in order to get up to speed with our HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Then we got introduced by our mentor to Vue.js, which was a new technology for all of us. And the first project we got assigned with it was to make a web that did movie retrieval. At first, we used mock data, but as you'll see later, from then on, we started working with real IMDb data. And along this building process, we got introduced to new concepts and new bits of information that we integrated into the project, such as TypeScript, testing with Jest, and so on. Some of the developers at Empathy also gave talks with some of the subjects we suggested, the students at the path, that included responsive design, animations, and testing. And some of those talks are in LinkedIn, So you can check out the videos, they are amazing. And if you haven't done so, go check them out. And now my colleague Danny is going to present you the chronology of the search path.
Okay. So at first, we have to read a lot of documentation. We have to read about the technologies we are going to use, like Elasticsearch, Docker, Micronaut as a client for the API. And then after reading a lot of documentation and learning about the new technologies, we start with the path itself. The first thing we do every week is the Mondays, we have a meeting with our path owner, and there the path owner presents a little bit of information about what we are gonna do and how we can do it, but just little hints. So after the meeting, we have a week to do the assignments and to do a lot of research, because the idea of the path is that you have little piece of information at the beginning and you can start from that learning, researching, and doing the job.
Next up came the moment of joining forces, and to do that, both our mentors created a joint project, which was a common blueprint for all of the teams, in which we would integrate the front solution we created with the API created by the search path. That way, we could search over the more than 7 million records they indexed, and also we could add some features of our own on top. In order to do this, we had to divide ourselves in teams, as I said, and we got 3 teams. The first 2 ones were composed by 1 member of the front path and 1 member of the search path, and the third one was composed by 1 member of the front and 2 students from the search path. Next up came the moment of getting to the task at hand, basically. So we had to meet up between the teams and coordinate our efforts.
The first thing was to meet with your colleague you will work with, and you have to coordinate with him, work about the things you have to do, and start planning how to get there. And then you have to work on it, and you have to start fixing the errors you found in the way, and your colleague says he needs something, so you do it. And well, that's a collaborative process that is very useful.
And now for the final steps, all of the teams got together for putting some final touches, polishing the web application, improving its usability, also making sure that the functionalities were working fine, and getting it fully ready to present it to you today.
Yes, after we have our first demo, we start working on little improvements while our colleagues at the front still work on their thing. We have to maintain and do a little bit of improvements, like suggestions, like you are gonna see next, or facets. And after you have all that, we had a feedback meeting with our mentor, and then here we are presenting our journey to you.
And as the saying goes, a picture is worth 1,000 words. So I'm going to show you a quick evolution of how the things went for the front-end path, mainly. For the first version, as you can see in the screen, we had only a basic list plus the details of those movies with around maybe 7 or 8 movies. Then for the second version, we mainly added some functionalities like, well, under the hood functionalities like, for example, TypeScript or Vuex or the router. And then we added things like the search box to have some work done before joining our strength to the search path. And also we added a different page for listing the details of each movie. And for the last iteration, as you can see, we improved the UI to make it more joyful, according to Empathy's standards. We added the facets, as it was already explained, and as Sonia, I think, will explain later. We also added the suggestions. And I think, we also joined the front end with the search index that our colleagues made to have a more decent list of movies of around 7 million.
So that really looked beautiful, right? But that's the bright side. There were also the dark side, and that's where I will show you. First, we had the obstacles. In this case, the front-end obstacles. our front-end colleagues had to get used to new tools. For example, those that you are seeing listed there, and also dealing with all tools like, okay, Google, how to center div in CSS? That's something that everyone has worked with CSS have done. There were a lot of experimentation with all those technologies. How to and Control F were just shortcuts that you always had in hand. And there were also the backend obstacles. Again, new technologies. For example, there's Micronaut. Micronaut has an incredible documentation. It goes like this. Hey, I'm the Micronaut documentation. Hi, Micronaut. You know, with Micronaut, you can do this. That really looks nice. How do I do it? Yes. More or less, it's like that. We also had problems with integration, coordination, as you said, as my colleague said. And we also had to index over 7 million entries. That's a lot. Macs refused to do that. There were Macs that decided to die, to shut down before even dealing with that. They hit it that much that, you know, I didn't need a hit during the whole winter, just the Mac indexing. And we also had to tune the search. There are a lot of items, but we have to find a concrete one. And with that, we made our project, and we'll show you on this demo.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Sonia Garcia Lavandera, and I will share with you one of the projects we have been working on for these few months on the front path. Let me share the screen. First, we have the search, which although it may seem something easy to do, it takes some time because it works with a debounce. But what is a debounce? A debounce is a function that delays the search until the user stops typing in this way. As you can see, when I stop typing, the search component executes the query. This allows not to overload the application with API requests. On the left, we can see the different facets. I will filter the movies by genre, for example, adventure, and by type, movie, or by date. Each facet has a secret. This is a fully reusable and customizable component. And if we want to know more details about a movie, you can find here with a click. This is other component. This shows the details of a movie. And this component, with this component, we learn different aspects of a view, like the view router. With it, we pass the information about the ID of the movie, and we make a request to the API, and we get the details. Or, for example, we learn how to pass information between these two components, the details and the list of movies. And if we have some problems with when we are searching for a movie, like you are not sure what is the title of a movie, or you make a request, or you make a mistake when you are writing, like this, the application makes different suggestions. And here we are, our movie. And finally, we have the ranking of movies, our top 10 of movies, and we also see the details of each movie. And that's all from my side. I enjoy it, and I hope you enjoy it. So that's all. Thank you so much.
So now I'm going to show you another one of the demos we developed, the search and the front paths. This is a rather special project because it is the same front end working with two different backends. This means that with the same visual interface, we can have running two different search engines, and so the results will be predictably different. As you can see, the only thing we've changed is the color of the background, so you can better distinguish between one version and the other. We don't have a dedicated rankings page as in the previous project, because we decided it would be a better idea to, whenever the search box, as you can see, is empty, show the top 10 movies. And as you can see already, the top 10 in each of the versions is slightly different, because as we said, we have running under behind the scenes a different search engine. We can search for a title, for example, Avengers, and it will show us the results. We can also filter by genre, by media type, and by years. For example, I want a movie, an animation one, and release, well, it doesn't matter. But we have this result as a result of our query. Another interesting thing is that filters change when depending on the other filters that have been applied previously. We can also search for the details of a movie. For example, in the Avengers, if we click on the poster of that movie, we display apart from the title, the release date, and the genres, we also get the rating it has on IMDb and the runtime minutes, which may be interesting for us. But what happens if we don't find anything with our query? For example, if we misspell this word and we write Avengers instead of Avengers, well, we get a set of suggested terms because we were maybe trying to say Avengers instead of Avengers. So we click on that and the query is done with the correct term and we see that we get results. This is all on my part, but I think Anna is going to continue next.
Hello again. That's all for our part. We hope you liked it. We hope that you feel curiosity for the project that we show you. And we want to say again, thank you to all the Academy Path, to all the Academy Path, to all the people from Empathy, because they were with us, they help us, and they were this journey a little magical, I would think. So right now I'm going to give the control to the analytics and the data path, because they are going to do a really cool presentation. You will see it.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Sara, and together with my partners, Fernando, Christian, and Angel, we're going to tell you a little bit about the analytics and data academy paths and about our rock band. First of all, Christian and Angel are in the data path, and Fernando and me in the analytics path. And also, we have here our amazing path owners, Edgar and Eva. Now, let's get started with analytics path. Analytics' job is to derive meaningful insights from raw data. It's not about stats, it's about people. We learn how to collect, analyze, and interpret data taken from website or web components. First of all, we had to learn the analytics slang and its tools. Then we choose a website we like in order to define goals and KPIs, and also make a funnel for the empathy search process. Then we started working with Google Analytics and Well Tag Manager, and we also learned about the empathy tagging. Then, after attending some courses, we made a website where we collected data thanks to Well Tag Manager, and the results were shown with Google Analytics. After that, it was time to try our tech skills, learning Python and playing with the empathy data. We worked on a real case study. We tried to figure it out if the contextualize a service that empathy had provided to a client was working. Here are some of the chats we did to demonstrate this, since we also learned how to display the data. And to show you about the data path, here is Christian, all yours.
Thank you, Sarah. I'm Christian, and now I'm going to tell you a little bit about the data path. It's organized in 5 modules. In the first one, we learned basic concepts of data engineering, such as what is a tagging API and what's a pipeline. We also learned how to use Apache Beam to gather data from PubSub queues and files. And finally, we worked on everything we had learned by transforming the lyrics of a Bad Gyal song. In the second one, we work with the Parquet format to store data in a compressed manner. And we learned how to use schemas to define the model of that compressed data. Then we moved on to the third module, the most difficult in our opinion. We learned a new programming language, Scala, and we used it to aggregate data using Apache Spark. To practice all this, we used data from Kaggle to make queries and aggregate the response data. In the fourth module, we learned the basics of MongoDB. We connected to Apache Spark and we played a little bit with it. And finally, in the last module, we learned advanced functionalities of MongoDB, with which we can aggregate data directly from its API. Now, Fernando and Angel will show you our rock project. Thank you.
So I present to you Prometheus. Prometheus is our rock band, or our fictional rock band, and also our website. We wanted to make a full data collection and analysis pipeline. So we took a website from W3 School and we made it our own. We put up our own photos and our name. We chose Prometheus as a name because he's the god of all thought in Greek mythology, and he brought humans fire. So we thought it was somewhat appropriate. You can visit us at that link right there. So when you go to the website, we collect some of the data about what you're doing. When you connect, when you buy tickets, when you go to the merchandise page, or when you buy merchandise. We collect that data to be able then to analyze it and convert it into insights and be able to say how well we're doing as a business. Angel is gonna talk to you about how when we take that data, then we send it to tagging API, and then the data processing team then works with that. So Angel, all yours.
Thanks, Fernando. Now to process the data, we created a simple tagging API service with the 5 endpoints that you can see on the diagram. This tagging service receives HTTP requests on those 5 endpoints and stores the data that the analytics team sends us from the web to MongoDB. Having that data stored in MongoDB, the stats service does simple MongoDB aggregations on the data and collects it to send it to the analytics team to create the reports or demographic statistics of set data. The / report endpoint is for general purpose statistics like total tickets or so on, or total users, for example, and the / demographics is for the demographic information of the users that connected to the web page. For example, if they are male or female. Now, Fernando will explain to you this part, how we analyze this data.
So yeah, once we process the data, then we analyze that. We made some graphs to be able to get insights from the data. And for example, we can see here the funnel diagram. We can see that of the people that connect, some of them buy tickets and some of them go to the merchandise page. And some of those people actually buy merchandise. Then all of them go to a thank you page that we set up. We can see that buy tickets and buy merch is more or less the same size, but because tickets are more expensive than the merchandise, a higher amount of revenue comes from the tickets than from the merchandise. We can also see some graphs about the amount of tickets we sold in which cities. We can especially compare New York here in May and New York in September, that the growth is very significant, and it may tell us that we should focus on having tours later in the year, or maybe in the later part of summer, that we can get more people there. We can also see the users per day of the website. In this spike right here is when we launched the website. We can also see, well, the map is the same graph as before, but we can see it like spread out geographically. We can also see the gender report of how many of the people who bought merchandise bought it for women or bought it for men. And now the Dataviz team is gonna talk to you about their path and their projects. Thank you.
Now we will begin with the Dataviz presentation. Let me introduce to you the team. We are Andrea and me, Lucia, and also our amazing path owner, Jorge Rey, who is just as much part of this project as we are. So thank you very much, Jorge, if you're there. So what are we going to present? The project is called The Evolution of Technology, and is divided in 3 different parts. The first one is the path, in which we've created a chronological story of the evolution of technology. Then the present, in which we've studied the relevance of technological terms in both New York Times and TechCrunch databases. And finally, we wanted to create a little space to give visibility to solid technology. We were very nervous when making this presentation because you may remember us from a previous areas review where we've already shown our data visualizations, or also you may have read these 2 articles, which are in Imagine Your Data. And we didn't want this project to be just a rehash of previous projects. So this is the new stuff that we've introduced in these projects that we are going to show you today. First of all, we've learned how to do scrollytellings, which we thought was the best way to tell the story of technology's past. We've also learned how to do bubble graphs, and how to collect our own data, which was the hardest part. We've used the Twitter API, also Kaggle datasets, and Python to parse those datasets. And the most amazing part, which is collecting people's real data. We've talked to more than 160 people about different technology topics, and we've collected their answers, and we are going to show you those answers today. And behind every great project, there is always a great idea, starting by the cover, which we think is the most important part, because you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but we all do. So you need the cover to be very beautiful and to grab the user's attention. Out of these 3 ideas that we had, we chose the one on the bottom right, because we thought it was the most colorful one, and it was the one that provided most joy to the user. Then we had these 3 ideas for the first Dataviz. We chose the one on the top right because we wanted to experiment with curved lines and sectioning those lines and coloring them, but we liked all of them. So we wanted to take the one on the bottom left, tweaked it a bit, and that's what we turned into our next visualization, which is a bit more of an in-depth study about each of the words that you can see there, and more than we are going to show you later. And we will show you what's inside of that computer in a few seconds, so please wait. And finally, we wanted to talk about solid technology, because this is the technology that we are going to use in our future projects. And we think that this is the future of data. We think that data will really be owned by their own users. So, and now the other half of the Dataviz team, Andrea, is going to show you the final project.
So this is our project, the evolution of technology through history, and it has 3 separate parts, past, present, and future, that I will explain to you one by one. So we have followed the chronological order, and obviously the first part is the past. And on the left, we have the most relevant inventions related with technology, like, for example, the invention of the wheel or the alphabet here. And also on the right, we have a timeline with the shape of a snake, showing the information on the left part, but more in a more visual way. And when you scroll, it changes and shows information related with the century or the stage, as you can see. And finally, we have the 21st century that links us with the second visualization, the present, where you can see a computer with some terms related with technology that we consider relevant. When you click in one of these terms, for example, iPhone, there's a lot of new information there, I know, so I will explain it. Up to the left, we have a comparison between New York Times and TechCrunch. There's a slider where you can change the year to see here the number of occurrences of the word in the database. Down to the left, we have the latest tweet about this word of TechCrunch, You can see it here. Up to the right, we have FunFat that we obtained from more than 160 people. And for example, for iPhone is that 6 out of 10 people have had an iPhone. That's a lot. And finally, down to the right, we have the peak year. That means there's the year with the more number of occurrences of the world, that in this case is 2009. And finally, we go to the future visualization. And we wanted to talk about Solid because Solid is a specification that is really relevant for us and may change privacy as we know it nowadays. So you can hover over one of the icons here to see more information about Solid. For example, here, users control their data and decide to whom they share it. And also, obviously, we wanted to include empathy because empathy is developing some projects like, for example, Omarpod or Kala that we wanted to include here. So that's all for Dataviz Pass. I will let Danny to close this presentation.
And now for the verdict, as you can see in the screen, by the way, these screenshots are completely real and not fake. Steam users seem to love the Academy with an overwhelming amount of positive reviews, and for some reason, it appears to be one of the most popular or the most popular destination in TripAdvisor. Now, seriously though, it's been an amazing experience, and it has allowed us to, well, to specialize a bit more in the path we chose, even if it's just a little. So from our part, it's a big thumbs up. And finally, after this long presentation, we want to thank you all for being here. And once again, to thank everyone for helping us with this journey. Marina, all yours.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys for all the effort that you put during these months. I'm very happy to have the opportunity to learn from you. And also thank you to all the people involved in every academy process to help us. And yeah, I'm very happy because from last Friday, we closed the applications for the June batch, and we have 90 people wanting to join us in the next batch. So looking forward to see what is coming for the next. Thank you so much.